I just graduated from graduate school, and I wanted to learn how to manage my money. I have a lot of debt, and then I went to the Key Bank. They have like an educational learning center, and they had a variety of courses. So everything from credit scores. So at that current time, I didn't know what my credit score was, or the importance of it, or the value of it. So going to that class allowed me to understand. From this point forward, the importance of a credit score and the importance of paying your bills. And I realized the first thing for a budget is to know when your bills are due. At that time, previously, I knew you had bills and I would pay them, whenever I felt like it, honestly, because that's what my mother did, and the people around me, they weren't so focused on paying bills. I mean, we kind of look at it as, oh, it's just something you have to do as an adult. But now I look at it as it's more preventative. I know every month I have a car note of this much and this much, and paying your bills on time allows you to have money in the end because you don't have interest or a variety of other late fees that accumulate. So in the end, it saves me a lot of money. So I began to understand the value of paying your bills on time and how it impacted your credit. So prior to it, I had very little knowledge of just finances in general because we didn't have these conversations growing up. And I now talk to my mother, and I understand the importance of something simple as you have a credit card and what is your interest rate? Because I didn't know that until Shara asked me it, and I was like, you know what? I actually don't know. And that forced me to look up the information because they give you the information, and I understand the importance of monitoring what you're spending. And just because you have a credit card doesn't mean you need to swipe it for every little thing. Prioritize. So this credit card is for gas, and that's what I'm gonna use it. And even with credit cards, don't use your whole balance. You have to stay under 30%. And overall, all your credit cards, you want them under 80% utilizing it. So simple information like that I wasn't given. So now I understand it, and from this point forward, I'm gonna manage my money better, which is extremely important. With paying my loans back, paying my credit cards. So as of now, I only have one credit card that I need to pay, and it's under like $700. Prior it was like probably $1,000, or a little bit more. And all the rest was down. I had a few credit cards that went in delinquency just because, I don't want to pay it this month, or I simply forgot about it. So from that point that I pay my credit card, all my bills on time. I set a calendar. I know when they're due. And then I talk to my family about management, since I understand, you got to pass the information forward. So hopefully helping my family with financial. Not an expert, but I can tell them, pay your bills on time, at least know when they're due, and understanding the importance of shopping for a credit card. I know when I first approached my finances, I was very frustrated because it just seemed like it's overwhelming. It's a new skill that you're learning, so something like math or Spanish in the beginning is frustrating, but once you build that muscle, then it becomes easier. So now it's automatically, I see when my bills due, and I try to arrange it around my pay. So I get paid, bills, I try to link them. So finding a strategy that you feel is effective and kind of debunking that anxiety around it, especially if it's something new. I think that's the beginning, and then finding a strategy that's effective for you. So for me, a lot of technology. So I utilize Mint. I use Google, my calendar, and it sends me notifications. So for me, that was effective. But my mother, that wouldn't be effective strategy because she's pen and paper. Like, she doesn't even have a bank account at this time. Understanding. So if someone was to approach me, understanding where they're at. And I think that's easier because I remember that I didn't know when my bills were due. So seeing where they are, and maybe they're in that first step. So you wouldn't want to start with all the credit talk in the beginning. Finding where your bills are, when they're due, what are your interest rates, do you have any credit cards, maybe shopping around for the best. So yeah, for me, it's helped me to become more disciplined and understand the importance of finances. So I think that's what's attractive to me. But someone else may want to go on vacation, or I think people get financial management for a variety of reasons. Mm-hmm. It just seemed like it was so much information. It was so much terms. So in the beginning, it was overwhelming. In the beginning, especially in the classes, because I think they were like 2 hours. So you're just sitting there like, oh my God. But I like information. I like to learn. So I think that helped me push through it. And definitely I had one-on-one coaches with Shara, and that was extremely helpful, because even like creating a budget, it was very anxiety provoking. You don't have a lot of money, you gotta kind of make it stretch. And it's very anxiety provoking. Bank was there, however, I never knew that they had classes besides that flyer in the library. I always thought it was for key bank customers. So when I went there, I think that was kind of like a barrier too, because I'm like, I don't know if can I use this, and I was kind of nervous, like, oh, they're gonna make me sign up for a key bank account. And at that time, I was with Citizens, so I was like, I have a variety of goals that I would like to achieve. Definitely paying down my student loans, and that's a big process. So understanding, for example, do I want to pay on which loans, and understanding the interest rates, and what's the best strategic plan to go about it. Credit cards, retirement. Again, I'm a first generation college student, so my mother doesn't know information like this. So definitely having a place that I can go to discuss the variety of options is definitely helpful. Because if the center wasn't here, I wouldn't be able to receive the information. I always find that even if you don't use the information now, you kind of plant seeds and it grows. So they may not understand the importance now, but once you have information, you can't just turn away. So the reason why I continue is because I learned that money management is everything, and I see money as power. So you're either going to control your money or someone else's. So for example, you have $1,000 for a paycheck. However, because you don't understand the practice or the discipline of controlling your money, you go out to the bar or to shopping. You're going to spend your money one way or another. So do you want to spend it in that store, or do you want to spend it in a retirement account? Do you want to spend it in a stock where it's beneficial and you have more control of your money, and you understand that it can work for you, and build interest, and ideally multiply?